In this episode of The Landscape, I got a chance to speak with Shivay Lamba from Couchbase about how open source is shaping the deployment of private large language models on Kubernetes. We talk about KitOps, that's KITOPS, a CNCF sandbox project aimed at simplifying how machine learning components, like models, weights, and data, are packaged and deployed using OCI-compliant artifacts. Shivay also shares how tools like ModelKit and AI gateways are improving privacy and portability in on-prem LLM infrastructure. Check out the episode and let us know what you think.
So hi everyone, I'm Shivay. I work at Couchbase as a developer experience engineer, and I also am a contributor to the open source project called KitOps.
Very good. Tell me about what's going on with KitOps and LLMs, things are going on with ChatGPT. What's the deal?
Yeah, so I think one of the growing trends at this year's KubeCon has been the deployment of private open source large language models on-prem or on Kubernetes. Because as we know that when you're uploading your data to ChatGPT or all of these proprietary models, you never know what's happening behind the scenes. They might use your data for training, or might even sometimes what might happen is that your data might surface during a random prompt that another user in the other part of the world might make. So a lot of companies who want to make their data more privacy or be more compliant, they are trying to build this entire infrastructure using open source technologies like VLLM or using containerized technologies, right? So KitOps is a recent project that got introduced into the CNCF sandbox, and it's trying to tackle some of these particular issues. So if you look at a machine learning project, it's a bit different than, let's say, a software project. Because if you're using like Docker and creating an image with the help of the Docker image, it's just very simply packaging your application and all of the different dependencies. But a machine learning project has multiple components. It has the data set, it has the actual machine learning code itself, the model weights, and some other parameters. So there are a lot of these building blocks then that data scientists have to pull from different resources. So it makes it a bit more complex. So the idea was that we wanted to use the same OCI-compliant artifacts and apply them for machine learning. And this led to the introduction of a new format called as ModelKit, which literally takes a lot of the different things from the layers technology that we have inside of container images, but it reapplies them for machine learning. And it makes it very easy to take different components of your machine learning system and package it together in an OCI-compliant manner, so that you can still use the same type of open source DevOps tools. For example, if you want to deploy it on a container registry like Docker Hub or on some private registry, and like let's say deploy this on Kubernetes as an init container. So you are just going to be having the base container image, and on top of it you deploy your layers. So it's a very exciting use of being able to efficiently package together AI models and then deploy them anywhere. So you can imagine that now you're able to efficiently deploy your machine learning models on-prem, on any public Kubernetes cluster, or even in a private cluster, whatever might be a use case for you. So we're seeing this, and then there are a few other companies that are also now talking about like the use of AI gateways to make the LLM deployments more secure if you're building a generative AI application.
Okay. And what's next? How can people get involved?
Yeah, I think the best way to get involved is, so there are a few other projects outside of KitOps. You can probably get started with KitOps as well because it's brand new, so the number of contributors are also very less. So it's a great potential project for someone who is interested in Golang and just wants to be able to really just start contributing to a project which is still in its very nascent stages, right? Because of course, it can be a bit daunting to contribute to Kubernetes because it's very mature. So if someone is a beginner, I think being able to contribute to these type of projects that are very new in the sandbox, that's a great journey. Or of course, what you're seeing is a lot of other projects are also now slowly adopting AI, or they are transitioning into AI. So whether you look at Kuma, right? So Kuma is another project that works as a service proxy, as service mesh. They're also introducing some AI capabilities. So if you are into the cloud native space and you are into AI, then there are tons of different projects that are currently into the ecosystem. And again, this interview is a bit short, but there is this huge another aspect of like using GPUs and improving the GPU management on Kubernetes. So there is another growing project called Q. So Kueuu. It's a Q, right? Not the typical Q. But that's also another impressive project that is being supported by NASA, by CERN, by NVIDIA. So if you're into more of GPUs, that's another great project that you can contribute to.
And if people want to get in touch with you,
Well, I'm very active on Twitter or on the CNCF Slack. So you can just type Shivay Lamba. I have a unique name, so you should be able to find me very easily.